Drayden House and HarlequinAudio is proud to bring you Campaign Widows, a novel by Aimee Agresti, performed by Thérèse Plummer. Part 1. Primary Education. Chapter 1. This is totally the American dream. January. One look at that endless spiral staircase and Cady knew this just wasn't going to work in heels. She craned her neck, following that epic skyward coil leading, presumably, to the Capitol dome, as she slipped off her pumps and stowed them in her satchel. This called for pragmatism. So, how many? 26 stories, give or take, the buzz-cut Capitol police officer said, pulling shut the door onto the rotunda. Twilight descending from the windows above, tourists and lawmakers cleared out for the day. The grand, airy rotunda had been so zen-like at this hour. With the creak of the door, though, they were now sealed inside the stark and claustrophobic hidden passageway of the staircase. No elevators. Okay then, she said, squeezing the bouquet of glorious red roses in her hand. Let's do this. The plan had been a quiet dinner in DuPont Circle, near Jackson's place, their place now, their place, to celebrate her first day of work. But instead, a sleek black sedan had arrived outside her office and whisked her here, to this officer bestowing flowers with a note that said only, "See you at the top. Love, Jackson." She wondered why the sudden change. Jackson had said nothing in his texts, going silent after instructing her to get into the car. The officer led the way, and Cady began the climb in her tights. To keep pace, she hummed that quick, steady drumbeat of Rocky Hayes' Constitutional Right, the catchy song that had been playing everywhere for weeks. About 18 stories up, her legs burning, she caught her breath. The twisting, turning path opened to a narrow catwalk, allowing her to glimpse the bottom of the rotunda, nearly making her queasy, before another passage sent them up again, deep into the webbed architecture of the dome. Metal beams and trusses extended out at all angles across the empty space, in a way that appeared almost delicate. She didn't mind this long journey up, circuitous as it felt. 2 days earlier, she had completed a similar odyssey and equally stunning feat, making the leap from New York to Washington, and to Jackson. The months apart had felt as arduous as this climb. So much scheduling, traveling week after week, unsure of where the relationship was headed, but with the vague hope of reaching a summit at some point. And at long last, it had all culminated in her move to his city. She replayed that moment in his apartment, trying now, as she had that day, not to be concerned. He just hadn't gotten around to making room, he'd said. He'd been slammed with work. When she arrived to find not a single drawer vacated, nor any welcoming windows created among his dozen navy and black suits, his vast array of button-down shirts. No room anywhere, really, for anything of hers. But there would be time for the proper melding of the things, she'd comforted herself. And so she had simply, joyfully shoved her boxes and suitcases along the periphery of the one-bedroom apartment like sideline players waiting to be led into a game. The time was right, pure and simple. She couldn't take it anymore. The distance, being away from him, shuttling along Amtrak's Northeast Corridor, or worse, along I-95 in those cheap buses with the reckless drivers that dumped you at Union Station or Penn Station or Chinatown just to see him for a brief weekend. The more time she spent with him, the more she wanted. She ached for a full-time relationship, but it had been up to her to make it happen. As a Capitol Hill staffer, Jackson was firmly entrenched in D.C. now, and as a TV producer, she had more options, and Washington was still a...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?